Sakuigar vote. Welcome, everyone. Tonight we are going to be discussing cuffing season. I have been considering starting out with a little bit of a mini rant directed at a certain former public servant. I'm going to nix that, mainly because of the fact that this individual is no longer in government, no longer in public service, and for everything he's done, I wish him well. So far, we've only got one guest for the panel tonight, and that is our good buddy MGTOW Outlaw.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And tonight, the topic is going to be something that every dude has dealt with, whether they want to admit it or not, in one form or another, and that is cuffing season.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my understanding of this, because I've gotten quasi cuffed over the years. Cuffing season is when a chick decides she doesn't want to be nagged by her family members over the holidays. And right around Halloween, she goes out and finds some sad sucker to be her one and only for the holiday season. Maybe she'll extend it out a little bit further if she thinks she can drain the guy. But for the most part, they just want to do their deal and have another person pay for it for them.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah,
go
go
on.
ahead.
Nope, go on, Outlaw.
Yeah, that's basically in a nutshell what it is. It's people looking to basically look for gifts and prizes, right? No different than what we normally see with women. And it's like you said, it's a photo bomb opportunity, right? They want to take all kinds of photos and look presentable to the family, and it only lasts from September all the way till February, which coincidentally is all the months that are holidays where commercially you have a lot of spending. You have Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's, New Year's. And so there's multitudes of opportunities for females to get all kinds of gifts and prizes and all that good stuff. It's basically status for the most
So,
part.
would you say that it's a fair assessment that so called cuffing season could also be seen by some individuals as kind of a quasi game show, where instead of waiting for 10 years to get your cash and prizes, you just wait for 3 months, maybe a year, if you think this guy has enough resources that you can drain and is dumb enough to allow you to?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say yeah. It sounds pretty right. Pretty
Okay,
much.
well, I did scrounge up a couple of articles on this.
Okay.
So, while waiting for some of the others to jump in, I'm going to go ahead and call these articles up, read them off. We'll go ahead and do our usual free-form discussion of them. And hopefully we have more folks jump in to join the party, because otherwise this won't be all that lively.
Mm.
Ooh, I need to actually hit the share screen button.
Mm-hmm.
Oopsie. Okay, this comes from the Cleveland Clinic, their Health Essentials subpage, 8 strategies for dating during cuffing season. I'm bringing this up because the way I see it, this is what guys can look at as how to avoid cuffing season.
Yeah. Right.
Because, quite honestly, I'm all about making sure that anyone who watches this is getting information to be able to identify when they are being cuffed or being targeted to be cuffed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, I'm gonna All right, so according to them, cuffing season is that magical time of the year during the colder winter months when people are more compelled to start relationships. It usually runs from late fall through winter and up until the warmer days of spring and early summer.
Mm-hmm.
What is cuffing season? Cuffing season is a social phenomenon. I gotta call bullshit there. I have got I have got to call bullshit there. Outlaw, how old are you?
I am 34.
Okay, I'm 42.
Mm-hmm.
I do not I do not recall ever hearing any of my older relatives talking about anything that resembled cuffing season. Now,
And truth be
granted,
told, I don't either. Go ahead.
now granted, my relatives, aside from my mom and dad, all of them are in stable marriages or were in stable marriages in the case of my grandparents who passed in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
But to my knowledge, only my mom and dad have been divorced. And my mom waited until my sister and I were well out of the house before she remarried.
Hmm.
I, I'm going to go out on a limb and say cuffing season, it started more or less with the advent of major social media.
I would agree with that. Yeah, because this is something fairly new to me too that I haven't heard a whole lot about. I've heard a lot of the guys in the community talk about it, but this is, yeah, for me it's a relatively new thing.
Okay, the science behind cuffing season. I find it hard to believe there's science behind this. All right, they're saying it's connected to something called seasonal affective disorder, which is a
Hmm.
type of depression triggered when the seasons change. It's also referred to as the winter blues.
Yeah.
It apparently intensifies feelings of being alone or blue, and dating is often a healthier strategy of coping than pulling the covers over your head.
Mm-hmm.
Outlaw.
Yeah.
When you are miserable and alone,
Mm-hmm.
are you more or less likely to make shitty decisions?
Yes, you are.
No, I mean you specifically.
Yeah. 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 Yes.
Okay,
Typically. Yeah.
so when you were younger, before you were more firmly rooted in red pill knowledge, were you inclined to go out to a bar, a club, or anything similar and potentially try to find someone?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, would you say that this actually is valid science or more of the kind of science we've been seeing over the last 2 to 5
Mm,
years?
it's kind of interesting that they're trying to apply science to this. I mean, it's if you've ever paid attention to those studies where they have the grocery store music, I don't, you
Mm-hmm.
probably have. People, if you can get them in a certain mood with music, commercials, which this is typically the holiday seasons when you start seeing a lot of commercials for, going and buying, and that has a subconscious effect on people's psyche, like wanting to get them to buy more, right? So you'll see, if you've ever been in the grocery store and you've heard that music playing that kind of sounds soothing and relaxing, it has a psychological effect, making you kind of want to buy more. You get relaxed, your guards down, right? I see
It,
this the
it,
same way.
it's
Go
kind
ahead.
of the same theory as elevator music used to be,
Right.
where where you'd get into the elevator, you'd hear this annoying but allegedly soothing music play as you're going up or down the floors.
Hmm.
Usually, I know in my case, I usually wanted to find some way to pry out the speaker and silence the damn thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe other people like that stuff for God only knows what reason. But let's continue on with this. I'm sure it's going to spin me up more. Since cuffing season only lasts as long as the fall and winter months, relationships that begin during cuffing season are often short-term or temporary and tend to last as long as the season itself. In some cases, those relationships could blossom into something long-term if both parties are enjoying themselves, but be warned the downside to dating during cuffing season is that sometimes you might intentionally or unintentionally lock yourself into a relationship you don't really want to be in. Okay, so let's look at this logically for a moment. And granted, I can only speak from the position of a man because that's what I am. I've never tried to claim I'm anything else as an adult. I've never tried to claim anything other than what I am. I go out to do my holiday shopping for Halloween because I decide I'm going to get some stuff for any trick or treaters that decide to swing by my apartment. And while I'm picking up whatever it is I decide to pick up, this cute young lady comes up and starts trying to convince me to make the move on her or make the move on me. We hit it off, or we seem to hit it off. At Thanksgiving, I bring her to my dad's place for the family dinner there. She takes me to her family's place for their dinner. We go home and do whatever. At Christmas, there's a big, lavish amount of money spent, probably by me because that's the way things seem to go. And then around Valentine's Day, if I'm lucky, I'll get the I think we need to reevaluate. And if I'm unlucky, it's Halloween all over again, only she's the ghost.
Yeah.
Does that sound kind of like what they're describing there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I find it just ironic that all of these months happen to be around commercial holidays, which a lot of companies make a lot of money. You got your candy companies, your costume companies, uh, you got your places that sell decorations, winter outfits. There's just a lot of money tied up into a lot of these, and it's funny that it happens to fall between a certain period of the year where, and you brought it up, I think last night when we were in the after party, that this is usually the time of year when you start seeing women dress a little bit more provocatively. They have excuses to wear provocative, like costumes during Halloween. Obviously, you know we see all of these famous Hollywood Halloween stereotypes, and I've never seen a slutty, busty witch. I mean, guys, come on. A cat. I've never seen a slutty cat. So yeah, I think it is. I think it does have a lot to do with coordination of a lot of these companies trying to make money off of these women getting hooked up with these guys, and then of course you have all that money tied in with the divorce courts and the.
Well, let's add one other part to this. Do you remember all through the late '90s and early 2000s, a certain jewelry company that was named for a three-letter spelling of a certain letter of the alphabet? I don't want to name it because if they're still around, I don't want to risk getting sued.
Yeah.
How many times was it that you saw a guy giving a little felt box or a little rectangular box with something really tiny but really expensive in there? And if the woman was giving something, it was a pin.
Yeah.
Seems to me there's something a little fishy about that. But what do I know? I'm just a dude who's been ignored by women. Honestly, I don't have room to talk. Jumping back into the article. Okay, the downside to is that needing to be in a relationship right now often makes people lower their standards or expectations in a relationship.
Hmm.
Really, you're going to lower your standards when you need to be in a relationship. I'm I have wanted to be in a relationship for a long time. I'm not lowering my standards to be in a relationship because my standards at this point are not morbidly obese, not a twat,
Mm-hmm.
and not a gold digger. Oh, and not a single mother unless she's a widow. I
Mm-hmm.
think those standards are pretty much rock bottom.
Yep. Well, it's the need for vanity. You brought it up earlier when we first started this stream. It's all about social media. I don't think I've ever seen a phenomenon like this before where so many people are so worried about their vanity in front of other people. And that's what this boils down to. I mean, they've got the clothes, they want to take the photos, they've got family they want to eat dinner with at Christmas and Thanksgiving and all this stuff. That's just what it is. It's one of vanity, pride. Very
Okay,
interesting phenomenon.
let's go ahead and continue with this because I am sure it's going to get me spun up even more. They are willing to be with people who are convenient and available versus those that truly match them.
Hmm.
Not touching that one.
Well, a lot of that could be because a lot of these women, uh, especially the ones that get closer to the wall, they start having this baby fever, or like some guys like to
Baby
call it baby
rabies.
rabies. Yep. And what more perfect time of the year than to start stocking up on all kinds of gifts and prizes than the holiday season, right? They have a term for this time of the year, holiday season, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean
Okay,
these women, it's opportunistic.
what are the rules of cuffing season? Honesty, self-awareness, and setting expectations and following through are all at the center of each of the following strategies for dating during cuffing season. All right, gentlemen and ladies, if you're watching, I am reading this to you with the thought process of I am telling you what the enemy is planning. Any of you who's been in the military or watched a war movie has sat down in a briefing or watched a briefing where they are literally talking through exactly what they're expecting to happen and how you're being expected to behave during this mission. Consider this to be your intel brief on what the opposite gender is going to try to pull on you.
Hmm.
What's the old G.I. Joe saying? Knowing is half the battle. Outlaw, do you want to guess what the other half of the battle is?
Mm. Well, if knowing is half the battle, then executing's the other half, right?
Exactly.
Hmm.
So, gentlemen, I can't tell you to follow any of the advice that we have here. All I can do is give you the information. It's up to you to decide if you want to utilize it. So, item one, be mindful for your desire for a relationship. That's actually a valid point for any time you look to start a relationship. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter if it's during the holiday season, during 4th of July, or during back to school when you meet that hot young teacher looking for school supplies when you're looking at office supplies to refill your desk.
Hmm.
And that one should be self-explanatory. Do you think we need to touch on it?
No, I
Okay,
think
we're
that's
skipping down to the next one then.
all right.
Be clear about what you're seeking in the long and the short term. That's a no duh.
Hmm.
Okay, outlaw. Have
Hmm.
you ever gone into something that's long term with somebody and not been upfront with them when you think you want it to be long term, whether it's business or romance?
Yeah, I've seen it before. Yeah.
Okay, so you have seen that happen.
Hmm.
How does it usually look? Because I have, if I have, I haven't realized it.
Typically, if you have people with intentions that they're trying to hide, and if like for instance, if they're trying to, uh, I guess for lack of a better term, bed you down to get the baby rabies out of their system. We've already kind of touched on it. Some of them will dress a little more provocatively. You'll notice they try to wear a little bit tighter clothing. Um, Sometimes they'll throw subtle hints at you, like, "Hey, what's your favorite restaurant?" Or "Hey, what do you think of this?" So they hint around. They'll fish for information out of you. Uh, Trying to hide the ulterior motive. But if you're smart, you can pick up on it relatively quickly. I mean, if these women are single, that's typically a big red flag right there that they're kind of fishing. A sudden interest out of nowhere in you and what you're doing. Like, we don't normally interact all the time, but now you're kind of coming over here in my space and kind of wanting to know what I'm doing for the holidays and stuff like that. So it's kind of subtle things that should sort of trigger or trip hammer your mind to be like, this is a little bit questionable. Just the small subtle things, right? Maybe she doesn't dress provocatively most of the time of the year, but now she's kind of like, I'm losing weight. I want to try this tighter dress, stuff like that.
Okay,
If that
so
makes sense.
so from your observation, then let's give
Mm-hmm.
a hypothetical here. The lady
Mm-hmm.
who's about to engage in this kind of behavior, if she's single, she's doing it because it's obvious she doesn't want to be single during the next however many months or weeks of the year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If she's married, she's doing it because she's about to, as Pop would say, monkey branch to the next peg D.
Yeah.
Or if she is a single mother, she is potentially looking at someone who can give her kids the kind of Christmas that she either A, had herself, or B, wishes
Mhm.
she had herself.
Yeah, see, it's mostly the women. From what I've seen personally, it's usually the women that are single and in their mid to late 20s, 30s, the ones that are pre-wall or have hit the wall, that they've probably watched a holiday movie like It's a Wonderful Life or something, and it triggers a memory like, oh man, I wish I had my own kids. So typically, if she's trying to hide the fact that she's wanting to settle down and have, which a lot of times they won't, but if they are for some reason trying to be sneaky, yeah, they'll kind of manipulate you with subtle tactics of trying to fish for information, just things that you should be aware of that you know you don't normally see behavioral patterns out of them any other time of the year.
Okay, and in that case, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to do something that's going to be hard for most guys to do. Put
Mm-hmm.
yourself into a chick's head.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a young lady that saw you in a bar or in a Walmart or a grocery store or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
female you decided male you is someone worth attempting this on, how would you
Mm-hmm.
approach?
It's an interesting question.
It's called flipping the script.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, if I was a female and I was interested in male me, um, I would start kind of getting interested in the things that male me likes to try to use to my advantage. So, if he likes sports or if he likes cooking or racing or what, and I would try to get him into a sense of, okay, let's see if we can try to go out on a date a few times and try to loosen him up and fish for him, see if he wants to have kids or not. Now, it usually depends on the motive of the female. If she's trying to have babies, or if she's, just wanting somebody that has financial security and safety that she may desperately, which is another thing that a lot of men should look out for at cuffing season. A lot of single women that may be on hard times, that may not necessarily want kids, typically if they're in a situation where maybe they're about to be foreclosed on, or they've got a really expensive payment coming due, like the rent or car insurance or something.
College
If
loans.
Yep, it typically, if they find out that you have money, and again, guys, females listen. They listen to fine details that you don't think they listen to. If they kind of hear you spill the beans about, well, I got some money to kind of throw away and laid back for this holiday season, they're gonna get suddenly a little bit more interested in you. So you've got to watch spilling the beans on your finances around certain people, and because sometimes they'll use their friends to fish for information too that you wouldn't even think they've got a connection. They're sly about it.
Okay. I am going to jump back into this article, which I'm
Okay.
sure I'm going to regret doing this. I already kind of do. Define your relationship.
Hmm.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if you are actively dating someone and you haven't defined the relationship by date number 3, there might be a problem.
Hmm.
No, here's my thought on this.
Hmm.
And feel free to take this one apart. I take a woman out, and the first date, because I don't believe in spending a huge amount of resources on something right off the bat.
Hmm.
The first date is going to be a coffee slash milkshake and walk in the park.
Hmm.
Nothing's terribly extravagant, nothing expensive, but something that is a nice, safe public space. We get to know each other. We chit chat a little bit, and after 45 minutes, we go our separate ways.
Hmm.
Second date would be more of a sit down dinner type thing. Not an extravagant restaurant again, but something more along the lines of a steakhouse
Hmm.
or a sports bar type thing. I may not
Hmm.
be a big fan of sports, but I occasionally enjoy rugby, and I very rarely enjoy watching a soccer game.
Hmm.
I think you can utilize that to kind of gauge where a lady's interests in when it comes to watching physical activities.
Hmm.
The third date would be another step up on the expense, another step up on the extravagance, but that's the one where we're defining, is this going somewhere? Is this
Hmm.
going to be something where in 6 months we're looking at putting together real estate somewhere?
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of guys don't look at it that way. I know a lot of women don't look at it that way. But if you haven't defined your relationship by date number 3, well, actually, if you haven't started to kind of figure out where you want your relationship to go by date number 3, that's a problem, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Because I don't know, by date 3, when you were dating, did you have some kind of an idea if this was going to be something serious or if this was going to be as certain people would put it, a smash and dash?
Yeah. Typically, you've already seen signs by the third date that there's some investment there with this person. Now, me personally, my health is the biggest importance. Uh, so, a person that uh, doesn't lie about health, that doesn't lie about uh, things of that nature, body stacking, that sort of thing. Yeah, usually by date number 3, you've kind of felt this person out. Is she going to be worth my time? But again, that relies on the man in the situation to have kind of a foreknowledge of what he's looking for and all that. So that'll be situational.
And see, I grew up with hearing the 3 to 5 date rule,
Mm-hmm.
meaning first date, there's no physical contact aside from a handshake and maybe a hug at the end if you feel comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Second date, kind of the same as the first date, maybe a little bit more hand touching. Third date
Mm-hmm.
might be a goodnight kiss.
Yeah.
Fifth date, if you're not one of the people like me who's waiting until marriage, that's when you start getting a little bit more intimate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of what you grew up with as well?
Yeah. Yeah. You just slowly easing into it until you've got green lights that you can metaphorically pick up on are there.
Yeah,
Um,
when you can read the signals of the person you're with.
mhm, right.
See,
And
that is
that's
why
the key. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
and see that's why I just really find it amazing when I hear about women who are just getting with somebody right on the first date. Sometimes before
Mhm,
they even leave the parking lot of whatever restaurant they went to.
mhm,
And I hear about that and I'm like, what the heck? Well, when did I leave Earth and arrive in some parallel dimension?
mhm.
And I grew up in the 80s, and that is something that was only done by ladies of very bad reputation.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays, the dating culture is so instant and so quick that with so many options and so much information available. I mean, sad to say, a lot of them do kind of figure it out on the first date if everything's up front and truthful, right? Because I mean, these women sit all day on these phones and swipe left and right, filtering out all these men and all these things that they want out of them. So they've kind of already got in their headspace what they want by the first date, which is kind of weird to say, but
Well,
you know,
okay, I'm gonna be honest. When I first tried dating apps, it's when I was deployed to Iraq.
hmm
My thought process was use the app to get to know someone, get a pen pal thing going, and then use the um, first meet or first date as a way to confirm or deny if I had a good solid read on the woman.
hmm
I get home from Iraq and I find out most women aren't looking at it that way.
yeah,
And I'm just like, what on earth? I've said this many times in the past. I'm going to keep saying it because I think it's bloody true. When they kicked CERN on, we had to have gotten pulled into a parallel universe because everything has just gotten so blasted crazy.
yeah, it really has.
Let's get back to this article before I get more spun up on this. All right, we already talked about define the relationship.
hmm
Don't make plans too far in advance.
Yeah.
I agree with this one. I really do.
hmm
If if you're open and honest with somebody and say that you only really want to date them during the holidays as a
Yeah.
cover to keep your families from jumping down your throats, as
Right.
long as you both know that going into it, I'm okay with that.
hmm
I Outlaw, when you were going through college or trade school, I'm sure
hmm
there probably weren't many women there. But
No,
if there were
not
any
hard.
there, and there was one that was cute but you knew was only going to be a friend slash little sister type figure for you moving
Mm-hmm.
forward. Would you have been willing to do an agreement where you would go to her place so that way her parents wouldn't jump down her throat for not having anyone, and she would do the same so your parents wouldn't do the same to you? And then at the end of it,
Uh, yeah. I that personally has never happened to me, but I have heard of that before. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, if it's something where both partners know that it's not a relationship that's going to go anywhere, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is two consenting adults making a decision to do whatever two consenting adults decide to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's when somebody is hiding their intentions,
Yeah.
that's when I have the problem with it.
Yeah. This is, and for those men who still want to date and to try to have kids and a marriage, and this is why the vetting process is so important.
Mm-hmm.
This is why it matters. You have to take time to fill out what type of a person they are, what type of intentions they have. Like I said, some of these women just need their month's rent paid. And after you do that for them, they'll see you later. You've done what they wanted you to do. So this is why taking it slow, dating, vetting these people matters, to get a feel of what they are, who they're like, what are they going to be like on down the road. I mean, can they cook? Do they like to go on adventure? Do they like to watch sport? If two people aren't compatible, it becomes very obvious to other folks around you. I've seen so many couples implode simply because they just weren't right for each other. They didn't have the same interests, and sometimes one of them lied. You could tell
Okay, let's go ahead and move on. The next one, or we've already said don't make plans too far in advance.
it. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a duh. I mean, if you're casually dating someone and you're making plans for next year, setting up housekeeping,
Mm-hmm.
that's a problem. If it's one of these things where you're at the casual dating stage and you're like, hey, you want to meet next week? Yeah, sure. Not a
Mm-hmm.
problem. And it's what most dudes do when they're feeling out a new buddy.
Yeah.
All right, prepare for the holidays. Almost feel like I need the Star Trek red alert sound effect on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing someone home for the holidays may reduce some of the awkward questions from family members about your relationship status, but make it clear who you're bringing home. That should be a no duh.
Mm-hmm.
I hypothetically, outlaw, if you were working in a field other than construction and you were
Yeah.
going to go ahead and bring someone or bring a work colleague home for a
Mm-hmm.
Christmas vacation, would you tell your parents before you brought them home?
Yeah. Yeah.
And why would that be the case?
No, I mean, because you have respect for your parents, for one.
I mean, everything I'm doing a rhino here. Everything this article is saying is common sense,
Right.
and I don't get why. So far, I've not seen anything on this that shows why they would consider this to be useful for dealing with the quote unquote cuffing season. It says you want to be very clear about your gift giving expectations. I have a workaround on that, and it's one that annoys a lot of ladies, but I don't really care. I'm an avid wargamer.
Mm-hmm.
When I am retiring a model, like this little one that I'm currently holding, which may or may
Mm-hmm.
not be visible, let's go ahead and full screen myself. Or if there's, or if the person I'm going out with is also playing the same kind of games that I enjoy, I
Mm-hmm.
will spend $40 to $60. Excuse me. I will buy up a model that person's been eyeballing. I'll
Mm-hmm.
paint it up to whatever color palette that person uses for their army,
Yeah.
and that's going to be their Christmas gift. Now, that's for the first year. Second year and subsequent years, different story, but that first year, it's not going to
Mm-hmm.
be extravagant because it shouldn't need to be extravagant.
Right.
And I'm sure you've got a similar protocol just with the stuff that you do.
Yeah. Well, if I'm going to invest in a woman, I mean, yeah, I use the same approach. It's slow and steady.
Mm-hmm.
I
You,
mean,
you build it up to the good stuff.
right, right, rushing into things. You know, keep in mind, guys, we live in such a fast-paced, go 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 society where everybody is expected to get everything they want right then and there. You know that's part of what's ruined relationships and dating in the West is this instant gratification nonsense. You know, women have placed too high of expectations, wanting it all up front. You know, and they don't realize that we advanced on social media so fast that it far surpassed the current climate of men that still exist, which are still traditional and more classical when it comes to dating. I mean, you know, it's ridiculous that we live in such an advanced society, but yet so many people are so fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, how?
they saw Idiocracy as a how-to manual, not a warning.
Yeah.
Number 6, set healthy emotional and physical boundaries. Again, that's common sense. I've said it before, I'm waiting until marriage. Yes, I know marriage is a death trap for men, but
Mm-hmm.
even if I were to get with a lady and engage in bedroom activities, there's no guarantee that any protection I use is going to be 100% effective. And there's no guarantee any protection she uses is being used properly or is going to be 100% effective.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, to me, that's just common sense.
Yep.
Don't ghost the relationship. How
Hmm.
many times have we heard about a buddy or a family member or anyone else having a girlfriend decide to stop contact and not say a word? And I'm going to flip the script on this. How many times have we as men done the same thing? Because as a certain ex grunt would put it, we're evil hairless monkeys doing evil hairless monkey shit.
Yep. See, this is another thing about the modern internet that has ruined relationships. I mean, ghosting is something you would not hear about 30 to 40 years ago before internet came out.
Well,
You know,
okay, I have to push back slightly on that
okay.
because there
Yeah.
were stories of dad going out to pick up milk and not coming back for 30
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
and there was a song in the, I want to say either late 70s or early 80s titled Walk Away Joe,
mm-hmm.
where this young woman was seduced by this dirtbag who did what he
Mm-hmm.
wanted with her and then apparently disappeared, leaving her in a motel
So when I
after
think of, no, go ahead.
after knocking over a convenience store, if I remember the song correctly.
So when I think of ghosting, let me give you guys the definition that I was going by because maybe that'll make more sense. I think of it in modern terms as far as the internet and social media, where you have the ability to completely delete someone's number. In a lot of cases, lose the phone that number was in, so they can't trace you no more. Uh, hide yourself from social media. You got the block feature, stuff like that. Uh, but yeah, you're right. There is a lot of more classical examples of what you would think ghosting would typically mean, like walking out and never coming back, going for milk, or skipping town or stuff like that. But yeah, it's I think of it in more of like modern terms, because to me that does sound like a modernist term, if that makes sense.
It does. Welcome to the party, Tommy.
Oh my God, you guys missed my party.
Uh-oh.
So
It
you had a
was
stream going on?
no, God, no. No, mine was beer cleanup party.
Uh-oh. Uh,
Well, we've got another couple parts to this article we're currently going over.
All
Then I
right.
think we're getting to the point where I think I'm going to go ahead and take a quick, like 2 to 5 minute break, and then we'll jump in on the second half.
All right. Sounds good to me.
all right.
Okay. Again, this article, I haven't seen anything on this article that I disagree with. And the same with this last point, or this point that's currently up here. Recognize that it's okay to be single.
Yeah.
Okay, Tommy, Outlaw, what's the
Mhm.
acronym that myself and Outlaw are using stand for?
What, the MGTOW?
Yeah.
Yeah, men going their own way.
Is that
Mhm.
not basically us accepting the fact that we're single and we're probably not going to change that status anytime soon?
Well, and it's not even that. It's just we're just going to do our own thing. We may not
Mhm.
remain single, but we are going to go our own way regardless.
Basically, we're happy with whatever decides to
Yeah,
pop up.
yeah. I
Yeah.
still have my Colombian girlfriends. They're great gals. I
I
will go
mean,
down and visit them. I'm not technically attached, but I'm single, but yeah, I'm going my own way.
heck yeah, man.
They accept it. It's all good.
I mean, this is at the end of the day, when you think about these commercial holiday, it's all about money.
Yeah.
So they're not going to, say, "Hey guys, this is what ladies are going to do to take advantage of you," and come out and spill the beans. You've got to know how to read between the lines on this stuff, right?
Hmm.
You've got to pick up on the subtle hints of the sexy clothing they wear, the like we've been over it already. Is the apartment rent due? Is she got baby
Hmm.
rabies? Did she watch Gone with the Wind or It's a Wonderful Life? And now she's suddenly she's got to have a baby. So you've got to pay close attention and know how to read people around you. And typically, one big red flag is if these women are single and they're
Yeah.
close to your age, in their 30s or 40s. That's a big red flag around the holidays. If they
Hmm.
suddenly hit you up with a lot of attention that you didn't get before, or hey man, you're starting to look good in that shirt, or guys,
Oh, I
if you're
love
smart,
that
you can,
color on you. Oh
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Fuck
if
you,
you're
bitch.
smart, you can pick up on it.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Okay,
My
let's
first
go ahead and
response is
see if
fuck
there's
you, bitch.
anything. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything else in this article that we want to talk about. I think we've beaten this one to death because, for the most part, it's stuff that we've more or less agreed with. I know I've agreed with most of it, which shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
How to know if your relationship will last past cuffing season. I think this is more along the lines of what we were initially looking for.
Yep.
So
Let's see.
cuffing season is the holidays, is what I'm taking.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that time
We
of the
can't.
year where we're. Go ahead.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's that time of the year where they're photo bombing the internet with their Thanksgiving outfits or their Halloween costumes or Christmas family get together outfit, or, it's stuff like that. I mean,
The douchebaggery.
yeah, and it's typically people who are in need of money around this time of year looking for
Hmm.
a Chad or a Tyrone that's got a lot of money. I told Mando earlier, and I told the guys here, be careful of spilling the beans on your expenses, right? If you've got some money tucked back that you're saving for a rainy day or something, you kind of let it slip. Well, it may not be the woman necessarily that hears it. Sometimes she's got eyes and ears reading the room for her that gets back, because, right, ladies like to gossip with one another. They've got connections everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, and I see that. And I've got a anecdotal story. Actually, it's not even anecdotal because it's the truth. I've done it for 2 years straight. Um, After I spent my Christmas over 2019 and New Year's 2020 down there in Colombia with my girlfriend at the time. We've since are not boyfriend girlfriend. We're still good friends, but that it's all bullshit. Anyway, um, I spent Christmas with them and they took care of me. They took damn good care of me. So for 21, 22, and I will do it again this year, I have sent them 1,000,000 Colombian pesos, which amounts to about $350 for Christmas. So everybody gets a gift, everybody gets some clothes, everybody has a good dinner. Honestly, it's one of the best arrangements that I've ever found with any women or family because I'm 2,000 miles away from them.
See, Tommy, the thing is though, you're kind of doing the honorable thing there. You're making sure
Well,
they've got you're making sure they've got what they need or would like for a
uh-huh,
holiday.
for a
You're not
holiday.
setting any major expectations on them.
Nope.
And when you show up, all you're necessarily asking for is maybe a nice place to stay and a hot meal.
Yes. And that I've it was really funny. One of the people that I'd met while I was there, her father passed away. She wasn't in the family that I was with. Um, but I was invited to her barbecue over Christmas Eve and got to be good friends with her family and all her 7 kids. Yes, 7 kids. Um, Her father passed away, and I got a message from my girlfriend's mother. Hey, could you help out a little bit? I'd like to give a gift, and I'm going to attend the funeral for her father because I'm a good friend of hers. No problem. Send him $100. Um, Now when I go down there next, I've got 2 families that I'm part of family, and I am now known as Mijo. I don't know if you guys know what Mijo is in
I have no
Spanish.
idea.
Mm-mm.
My son.
Mm.
I am literally accepted as a son in the family.
See, that
Mhm.
to me, that's a really good
Mm-hmm.
story. That's
Mm-hmm.
you're
Well,
not setting any expectations on them. They're
Nope.
not setting any expectations on you.
Nope.
It's a good, a respectful interaction.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
And I intend to retire down there, and I've already got everybody lined up. Find me the plot. We'll have a farm. Let's go.
Okay. Well, let's
let's
go
do
ahead
it.
and finish this article out.
Yep, go for it, man.
Let's do it.
Okay, so how to tell if your relationship is going to last past cuffing season. We can't predict what will happen in the future, but there are some telling signs that your relationship with your partner might last longer than cuffing season if someone consistently sets plans for the future dates. You talk about your relationship in the future tense. Communication becomes more frequent during the day. Your weekends are reserved for each other. Either of you makes the other person a priority. You have conversations about your family and family history. You spend more time with your partner around friends and family. And you
hmm
start to imagine what a future commitment could look like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I am copying web, this particular website down, and I am putting it in the chat. So if anyone would like to come and take a look at it, very much like some of the other guys in our community, I may not necessarily have quote unquote receipts, but I have no problem showing you all my work.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
same
honestly,
thing.
honestly, dude, any of you guys have any major problems with what was in that article? Because to
No.
me, everything sounded reasonable and logical, which kind of shocked me.
What I've heard of it sounded good to me.
Yeah, it's all right to me.
So, we have been on for a little under an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and start one of the videos that I put together for use as a break.
Okay.
It should be right around 2 minutes. I might loop it a second time so people will have a little bit more of a chance to go refill their drinks, empty their bladders, grab some popcorn if you really want it. And we will be back in 2 to 5 minutes, gentlemen.
All
You
right.
guys have any closing thoughts before I jump to break?
Let's do it.
I get to it. Let's get to it, bro.
Alrighty, let me see if I can do this without breaking something. Okay, that was shorter than I expected. I'm going to start it going one more time. Okay, we are back. Let me know what you all thought of that little break mini video thing that I put together. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the music, but
It's not bad. It's not intrusive. It's not awe-inspiring.
you know,
Mhm. I
like
liked
like
it.
I like I told Jackal before the stream, I'm not doing this to make money, and I don't know if I'm going to be doing
Right.
this in 5 years, so I'm not pouring a huge amount of resources into it.
I wouldn't either. No, that was more than adequate. It's the pause music. It's like, hey, go
Exactly.
take a piss. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so are we ready to jump into this next article?
Let's
Yeah,
do it.
let's do it.
Okay, this comes from, of all places, spy.com. I didn't even know this was a website, but okay. Alright, spy.com. It can be especially depressing for singles when companies are churning out Christmas rom-coms by the dozen, or they're stuck watching couples get more lovey-dovey as the weather drops. This is especially true as the chilly winter holidays usually culminate in February with Valentine's Day. Generally speaking, cuffing season lasts from October to February and includes fall and winter. It is more or less considered slang for hookup and casual relationships, where the main activities are holiday events and Netflix and chill. However, cuffing
Mm.
season can include something more serious or a recurring partner with each season. Has anyone ever heard of somebody getting cuffed 1 year, dumped at the end of the season, and then recuffed the next year? Just asking for a friend.
No,
Not usually.
no, no. If they don't stick with you through Valentine's Day, you're done.
Hmm.
And
I,
that's the biggest fucking bullshit holiday I've ever seen in my life.
Right?
okay, Tommy Outlaw, tell me if you agree with this particular thought.
Mm.
If you're in a relationship that starts around Halloween and it doesn't last until at least 4th of July,
Hmm.
Hmm.
you were cuffed.
Yeah,
Yep.
I would agree.
Yep.
So you better make
So,
your intentions known and your expectations known right off the bat.
oh yeah. Oh, we're going to get into that. Because
Hmm.
here's what spy.com has listed as the rules of cuffing season. While some cuffing situations are mutual, if you suspect that you're being used as a cuff rather than a long-term relationship, look out for red flags like partner only wanting to hang out at holiday events, or showing you off rather than making authentic attempts to get to know you.
Hmm.
If you do partake in cuffing season, remember to keep things honest and stay on the same page. Setting clear expectations and boundaries is essential. And no matter the nature of the relationship, check in with the other person to make sure the understanding stays mutual. And I've got to go off
Hmm.
camera for a second.
No issue.
One
Hmm.
of the problems with a cat when they start shedding, the hair gets everywhere, including in the little foam inserts that I have right along the nose in my helmet.
You had a nose
Oh
tickle.
goodness.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
I may not be as hardcore on it as Jimmy Bones is, but I'm more than happy to take a good burn, especially when it's a self inflicted one.
Mm.
That's not even a burn.
If you do partaking. Okay, I read that one already.
And
When
by
you
the
meet
way, I just
someone new,
called Jimmy out. Oh, he's in the chat now? Well, why isn't he
uh,
in the panel?
no, he's not in the chat now. He's in the chat, but he's not in the panel. I didn't
Why
send him
is
an
he
invite
not in
because
the
I thought
panel?
I Jimmy, if you would like in, let me know, and I will send you a invite.
Motherfucker.
But I
What
did
up,
not
Jimmy?
seem interested.
Get in here, you little bitch.
Hey, Jimmy, if you want to jump in and join in on the conversation, just send me the word, and I will drop you a invite in Guilded. But continuing on,
Anyway, yeah, go for it, man.
when you meet someone new, it can be tempting to hibernate and binge TV with them when it's cold outside. But be sure to stay connected to your hobbies, friends, and family members to avoid the feelings of isolation that cuffing season is meant to prevent in the first place. What is it that ladies frequently like to do to guys when they're in a relationship? Something about keeping them. Oh, yes, Tommy, you have an answer to this.
Oh, let's keep them in the back shelf so that we can have this little party date and then fuck them.
And not in the good way, right?
No, as in fuck them the fuck out of here. Fuck
Okay.
that.
All right. Well, Jimmy's
You like
asked for
that
an
little?
invite,
You like
so
that?
I'll go ahead and
You like that?
I'll go ahead and send him one.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's like this. It's like this. Oh my
Oh my
god.
god. Stop it.
Oh my god, I sound like April now.
Oh
All right,
god.
guys,
Don't.
Yeah.
do me
I
a
want
favor.
to.
If Jimmy does jump on, be nice,
Oh,
or
of
as nice
course.
as you can.
No, we're gonna rape his ass, but that's beside the point.
Okay. Well, all right, like I was asking before, I got sidetracked there. What, when you're in a relationship, or when there's romantic relationships going on, who is it that's usually the one that's interfering with the other one doing their usual thing? Is it the double X or the XY?
Double X.
Yep, double X.
Okay.
So
Because don't
everything
most
has to
XYs
revolve around her. Yes.
don't most XYs kind of want the double X's in their lives to have their own lives to a certain extent?
Depends.
I did
Depends
say
on
most.
well, it depends on the man.
Yeah,
Depends on their culture,
predilections.
predilections. Those are a good one. Um Honestly, I just wanted her to fuck off and leave me alone half the time during my marriages, both of them.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, the two real long-term relationships I had, yeah, I wanted myself and the girls I was dating at the time
Mhm.
to have similar interests, but I encouraged them to explore things they were interested in as well. And I made it very apparent that my interests were not negotiables.
Mhm.
I was going to do them, and if they wanted to join in, they could. If they didn't want to, okay.
I'm gonna sound the siren right now. Woo 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 woo. Beta male.
Okay, guess what? If they don't like that, they can go find Chad.
That's the alpha male in you.
See,
This is where it's fucked up.
I'm going to be honest. I personally don't ascribe to any of those
No,
archetypes. Because
no. And it's
honestly,
all bullshit anyway.
from one week to another, each one of us is going to demonstrate different archetypes depending on the scenario we're in.
We're gonna grow and we're gonna change weekly.
Mm-hmm. I Outlaw.
Yep.
When you are on the job site,
Yep.
are you always the one in charge?
Sometimes not, depending upon the situation. But I have been before. Yeah.
Okay. When you're in charge, I assume you're one of those who you're in charge, so you take charge.
Yep.
Is that an alpha quality?
I would, yeah.
Okay, and when the person who's above you in the food chain comes in, you step aside and let that person be in charge, correct?
Yeah, typically, yeah.
Yeah, unless
Okay,
they totally fucked it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
so
Yeah.
now then in that scenario you've willingly moved yourself from the alpha to the beta, correct?
No,
Mm,
I'm not necessarily meaning in the literal sense. I'm talking about in the food chain sense.
no.
hmm.
Subordinates are not beta or alpha. That's the
Interesting.
difference.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. And I,
Yeah.
case in point, gentlemen,
Hmm.
today I went in and had to deal with a shit show
Hmm.
and try to figure out what was wrong with a program that we couldn't do an automated test program to accept this product as good.
Hmm.
Um, what happened was the shit didn't work just like it did for my subordinates that worked for me that had
Oh,
the same problems. So there's something that has changed between the last four ship sets of this and the fifth, which is this is the fifth. Um, I couldn't figure out anything. The damn thing didn't communicate properly. It didn't work like it was supposed to. This is a business class Ottoman, and it wouldn't talk to the test box at all. At
Hmm.
all.
okay.
Nothing I did changed anything. I wasted 2.5 hours when I should have been working on the huge project that you guys have seen pictures of,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and I'm under a deadline. And I wasted 2.5 hours fucking around with this bullshit. When
Did
I
you
already
manage to
told
find out?
nothing, nothing, not a goddamn thing. I
Oh,
told them they should have brought in an engineer from the get go.
well, let's everyone welcome our favorite waffle maker, Jimmy
Yes.
Bones.
What's
Good to
going
see
on,
you,
Mhm.
Jimmy.
guys?
What's
I
up,
actually,
man?
I actually have the new computer set up. I've got everything plugged in. I got a brand new monitor that I can look up at to. I'm just having camera issues with the Elgato software system not downloading and shit. So
Ooh.
fun
Hmm.
times.
So
Do you
we're
still have the
looking
Dahmer
at
fridge?
I still have the Dama fridge, of course. Got-
we're still
Mhm.
looking at getting you up at 9 o'clock as you have stated.
yes, sir.
All right. All right.
Okay.
9 o'clock.
Well, then we need to go ahead and continue on with this article
Yes, we do.
and finish
Let
things out.
me let me stop waffling.
Well, it wasn't necessarily a full-on waffle. It was a quasi debate that does kind of correspond to what we were talking about.
Exactly. Exactly.
Why is getting cuffed so tempting? For starters, it's a given that you won't be stuck solo when everyone else is wearing couples costumes on Halloween.
Fuck off.
Oh my god.
When was the last time you saw an actual couples costume? Just asking for a friend.
The last time you saw somebody that was doing the connected bullshit,
See,
they're stupid.
you can tell that this particular article was written by a woman because men don't get excited about cuffing season because men are the ones who get used typically in cuffing seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and the name of this author is Naima Karp from 2 years ago.
Dead fish.
And last time I was around anybody in a social setting like that with Halloween, it was usually the females getting excited about putting on costumes, and I mean
Being whores.
the guys are just there to, yeah, man, we're gonna smash after this, and she's all excited. And I, I don't. I mean, maybe there's guys out there that gets excited about putting on a Fred Flintstone costume. I don't. Sure.
Okay, well, continuing on.
Mm.
Making eyes at their plus ones at holiday parties and kissing when the ball drops on New Year's Eve. and the aftermath of a pandemic, and those effects are all doubled. I have yet to see evidence of this.
What bullshit?
In the summer, people generally feel more carefree about meeting partners after all. Who isn't happy in the summer, regardless of their relationship status? Hi, I'm one of the 5% who doesn't like summer.
I love
If I'm
summer.
gonna if I'm gonna cook, I want it to be one of these things where I have something to eat after cooking.
Yeah.
Regardless of their relationship. However, unless you live in a spot that's warm year-round, seasonal depression is a very real thing. SAD, seasonal affective disorder, is caused by the reduced amount of sunlight during the fall and winter seasons, which affects our circadian rhythms and serotonin levels. And sad or not, the winter blues are definitely a real thing. During the holidays, we are all looking for a little comfort, but it's important during these times to practice acts of self-love. Jimmy, can you read this, or do you see this paragraph?
Hang on. Let's see.
Or do I need to go ahead and full screen it?
I see the bottom part right before the image there.
Okay, so you see that last paragraph?
Yep.
Can you read that off in your distinctive way?
Oh, during the holidays, we're all looking forward for a little comfort. Not really, no. Unless it's Thanksgiving and I go to my dad's and I eat myself silly and get shit-faced drunk. It's important, though, that these times practice the acts of self-love. Me and a bottle of Jerkins, especially on my birthday, to remind ourselves that we're more than enough on our own. Well, of course, I've never had a relationship during any kind of holiday, so it's not that big of a deal for me.
You're lucky.
Yep. And it's also a great moment to remember that there's no shame in going into therapy and talking about your holiday blues.
Oh my god.
I just get a bottle of whiskey and a case of beer and drink blues away.
Well, you have to limit some of that, but yes, I agree.
Okay.
Damn it.
Granted, we all know this was written by a chick, but could she have at least tried to write it up where it sounded less obvious?
It's a common tactic I've seen a lot of women use to goad men into going to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, this actually gets worse.
Well,
Oh,
We're not gonna
see
read this. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat if anyone wants to take a look at it. But
Yeah.
Well, it's already pissed me off.
oh, hang on, Tommy, sit on your
Yeah.
hands because you will want to strangle the computer on this one. I'm
No,
only
I'll
gonna
just
read off the
punch it.
title and the name of this person because this is so stupid that this title even exists. Self-love expert Jenna Banks.
Okay. Here, let me give you a little background though. My girlfriend in Colombia is a psychology practitioner. She made her license, she got all her shit. She put out a couple of things about self-love, which were not what this bitch is talking about. And
Well,
she did them in Spanish, and I will share them with you in Spanish because that's all I have. But self-love is a real thing. It's a good
don't
thing.
don't get me
What
wrong.
this
That you're
bitch
not.
is pushing is fucked up.
I'm not gonna read this because it's gonna end up spinning us all up.
Yeah, we don't need to crash Jimmy's stream after this.
Oh, I still got an hour and a half till I start mine. So
Cuffing
Even
season.
so, I will still be pissed if we continue this thought train.
Okay.
Just wait till I do my stream. It's gonna be
Oh,
fun times.
Okay, we are gonna end this particular article on this
Yeah.
on one paragraph.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Cuffing season means something different for everyone, depending on
Yeah.
your lifestyle. Maybe it's just a hookup, but it might be something more. If you're on the same page, that is. Regardless, cuffing season is a reminder to stay to say or to say it says to say present. I think it's supposed to be to stay present and live in the moment, despite even though it might not be the shortcut to your ultimate goal.
That
After
is
all, we're all just out there trying to connect in one way or another.
that is terrible fucking English.
Oh God.
Okay,
Oh, my
just from that one sentence, I think there's a way a certain Grunt and his producer would be responding. Do we want to go ahead and do the one, two, three as a group?
Three, two,
Two,
one.
one.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agree with the MM 4356, man. Oh my God.
See, unlike Rhino, I don't go and pick up about 2 dozen articles for something when it's something like this. I like to pick one or two of them, deep
Concise
dive
and
into them,
tight.
and rip them
Yep.
apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he did a little better on the last one Friday. I didn't stick around because I had to go to work, but
Well, no, the reason I'm saying that is I could have gone and spent an hour on the internet today
mm-hmm.
and found 2 dozen articles on cuffing season from a woman's perspective, from a man's perspective, from scientific perspectives. I could have gone and run the gamut, and we could have gone through the highlights of these articles
Mm-hmm.
and not really had all that great of a conversation about it.
Yep.
Or we could do 2 articles and rip them to shreds.
Mm-hmm. And have a good discussion about the entire reason we ripped them to shreds.
Exactly. Okay, so
Ooh.
we have got about 40 minutes before I plan to kill this particular stream.
Mm-hmm.
So, Outlaw, I'm going to start with
Mm,
you, then
yeah.
Jimmy, or then Tommy, then Jimmy, mainly because it's the order that you guys dropped in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, Jimmy.
Yeah, none taken.
I want each of you to tell me what your thoughts are as to when the timeline of cuffing season is and the biggest red flags you would look for if a woman comes up to you during that period of time.
All right. So I've kind of already said it during this whole stream. It's pretty much think of the holidays, the big holidays at the end of the year. Kind of the way to the end of the year and start a new one, right? All of your major holidays that usually originates around family, but it's more commercialized, right? Uh, I look for women who throw off very obvious red flags. If they're a little bit older, they date around, they don't have anything consistent as far as a relationship. They're single, they're probably having rent come due or their car payments are coming due, something that's going to help them get through the season. Maybe try to listen for guys who like I've already said before, may drop hints that they may have some money tucked back that they're sitting on, and the women may not be there necessarily, but they've got eyes and ears as far as their girlfriends or other guy friends. So be mindful, gentlemen, of telling people your expenses. Uh, keep an eye out for single women who are mostly in their 30s or 40s who are suddenly talking a lot more about babies or maybe needing help with finances. These holidays are nothing more than a status symbol. I mean, you see it on the internet like I do. It's photo dump time, all to validate themselves in front of other people. And if you want to keep your wits about you, your sanity, you want to keep your money about you, watch out for them. Avoid it.
Okay, before I jump over Tommy, apparently we had Jimmy drop off.
Uh-oh.
Not sure what happened there.
It's probably a masturbation
He
accident.
got spun up breaking the tractor.
Now that would be MM43.
Yeah, MM43. You all right, buddy? Is the
Yeah.
tractor okay? Can you fix it?
Uh-oh.
But
That's all right. You got cuffing season, MM43. Find you a sugar mama that's got money.
Oh my god.
there was actually something I was going to say on that as well, but it literally just jumped out of my head.
And we just totally distracted you.
Hey, go ahead, brother.
Well,
Go
I'm
ahead.
also trying to troubleshoot what happened with one of the guys on our panel, so.
Mm. Well, Jimmy, you know, he just does things.
Okay. All right, so Tommy, what are your thoughts about the timetable and what to look out for when it comes to this? Because we've all seen things.
Well, there was an incident today at work. I didn't take it poorly, but I definitely removed myself from the situation as quickly as I possibly could. I have a coworker who is a subordinate to me, and she is my best worker. She definitely female. Little Mexican gal. She cannot, or she has told me flat out she picks the wrong man and da 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 da. She had some questions about a project today that we were working on in conjunction with everything going on. It's the big shit that you guys have seen. She was rubbing her tits on my arm today.
Mhm.
So
I don't-
basically,
I-
she's attempting to cuff you.
I don't know that she was doing it purposely though, because she has never done that in the 5 years we've been together in the shop as co-workers.
Mm.
I think the tits might have just gotten in the way because she's got big tits. And she's a little short gal. She's only 5 foot, 5'1", somewhere in there.
Mhm.
And she was hanging close to me when I was describing how to do something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was showing her what was going on and how to figure it out on this big fucking project. This big fucking project is so fucking stupid, guys. Oh my God, you just can't fathom how bad this shit is. Anyway, so I maintained my cool. I didn't say anything. I let her rub her tits on me when she wanted to. I backed away to give her space. But I got a tit rubbing today, guys. Dude, I got a tit rubbing today.
So, but basically, you did everything that Me Too demands of you to make sure you wouldn't have an accusation.
I did everything to maintain her respectability. Me Too can fuck itself.
Yes, we know the world we live in, though, currently.
Yes, we do.
MM43, I don't know if you're in the Gilded, but if you are, shoot me a private message. I know a company that might be able to actually help you out with getting a hose that won't be super expensive.
I was gonna say most of your local NAPA Napa Auto Parts have hydraulic hose. At least they do in my country.
Tommy, I actually used to work for a company that would custom make hoses on demand.
Yeah. Fuck, I get a hose made in about 2 hours.
In fact, I used to joke that the company I used to work for had hose in different area codes because we were in 4 different states. Please tell me someone else gets that joke and
I
actually
got
finds
it, man.
funny.
I got it. I don't find it funny necessarily because it was the truth.
Okay.
Oh, Jimmy's back.
Ah, fucking stupid internet shit.
Well, break it out now, man. Get this shit figured out because your stream, you know.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if it was something up in my switch box that I got on my, because I got my main cord for the Ethernet coming in. I got it plugged in my switch so that I can run my lights and have everything else fucking hardwired. Fucking pain in the ass.
Well,
New
Jimmy,
computer shit.
Jimmy, before I get into your thoughts on cuffing season, I'm going to ask you this question.
Already?
Did you just get boned by the internet?
Oh god.
No, not really. It was more of a just the tip situation because I had still had the Wi-Fi hooked up and all that other shit, but it was just that one switch. So
Well, here's a suggestion for you, Jimmy. Drop the Wi-Fi as your main thing.
well, no, I'm hardwired into my because
Okay.
I'm plugged everything I've got everything moved over from what I had plugged into my laptop. Everything's plugged into the new tower that Edmund sent me and everything. So
Okay. Okay. So you got a router.
that's in my that's in the bedroom right next to me. So I got a cord running
Okay.
down through the floor
All
and then
right,
up and
all right.
around, and then I got a switch to hook up to the Wi-Fi for my plug-in for my USB, so I can run my light, my webcam. Well, webcam's not working anymore. Microphone and wireless mouse.
All right.
And
All right. So you still
then
need to
that's
figure
got
out the
a
webcam.
and the Ethernet cord has it's one of those blocks that's got a USB, but you can plug an Ethernet cord into it. I've got
Right.
that plugged in the back of the tower here.
Oh, God, I think
Okay,
you made
so,
this way more
Jimmy.
complicated than you needed to.
So, Jimmy, being that you're the cornfield master, what are your thoughts on the timeline for cuffing season and warning signs to be on the lookout for if someone is attempting to target you to be cuffed?
And you,
Okay.
Jimmy's still there?
yeah, he's there, I think.
His avatar's still there.
There he is. Yeah.
Okay, I know what the issue is. I'm having plug-in issues. I got a loose connection somewhere.
Okay, so did you hear the question?
No, I did not.
Okay. So, given that you are the cornfield cougar master,
Allegedly.
what is your thoughts on the timeline for cuffing season and how to tell when you're being targeted to be cuffed?
Well, the timeline usually starts about this time
Mm-hmm.
because the girl wants to get herself a man so that they can do the Halloween shit. And then if they stick around long enough, it's for so that they can go see mom and dad during Thanksgiving. And then we go into Christmas time. And then New Year's, and then Valentine's Day, and then that's when cuffing season pretty much ends.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Have you ever identified when a female's targeting you to try to cuff you?
I am completely invisible to women, so no, I have never been targeted for cuffing season. So I'm grateful for that.
Well, that sounds a lot like what I deal with.
Yep.
Okay, so gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts on the timeline for it and some things I've observed other men go through when they've been targeted to be cuffed.
Mm.
And saying it this way, it sounds like we're talking about a terrorist act and not someone just being a
Yeah.
bitch.
Or at least kidnapping. Yeah.
Okay. Right around the last week of September to the middle of October, a lot of these ladies that are single, they might be college age girls, they might be just out of high school, they might be ladies who are a little on the older side, and can't do the hot girl summer anymore, but still want to feel like the hot girl, they're going out to different holiday stores or holiday sections, and they're shopping for new gear for the house or for themselves, but they're also shopping for a new peg D that they can try to trick into thinking that they are going to be their one and only for the season. They might get a costume that's a little more risque than they normally would use, or something else of that nature, and we just lost Jimmy again. Or it might be one of these things where they're trying to act like the little airhead who doesn't know what's going on. Oh, will this costume make me look fat? Would I look cute wearing this?
Yep.
And if you're dumb enough to actually play along with that, congratulations. You just got, you might have just had the cuff put on your wrist. You go with them to the Halloween party, or to several Halloween parties. You don't manage to break any off, but you keep going because you either think she's cute, she's attractive, or you're, as a certain grunt would put it, you're thinking with the little head, not the big head.
Mm-hmm.
You go on to Thanksgiving, which is the next holiday after that. And she decides, "Oh, I'd like you to come to my parents' place for dinner Thanksgiving night." And you, like a fool, go, "Okay." You go to the girl's family's place for Thanksgiving. Do that dealio. You may or may not go to your parents' place because either you're not in the right state or the two events took place at the same time, or some other nonsense like that. Then Christmas comes along, and she basically gives you a laundry list of things that she wants, some of which might be relatively inexpensive, others will end up costing you an arm and a leg, or you might give her, or be an idiot and give her 2 to 3 months rent, a couple of months college payments, a car bill, whatever. Then New Year's comes around. All of a sudden, the attention from her is slowly petering off. Valentine's comes around. You're still thinking with the little head. You decide, well, it's the most romantic time of the year. I'm going to get dinner at the best restaurant in town, and I'm going to take her out and treat her. And if you're incredibly unlucky, the dinner will go off without a hitch. And at the very end of it, I think we should see other people. Or I need space. Or if it's a college girl, yeah, my next semester I'm going to be in insert other school here. And don't know when I'll be back in this particular city and state. Unfortunately, I can't take you with me.
Yep.
Does that sound to any of you guys like what the timeline for cuffing season would be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And sorry, gentlemen, I'm having issues with my USB Ethernet bank that I use to plug into my laptop, so I'm gonna have to finagle that around a little bit. I'll have to just plug directly into the tower and figure out the USB ports for the USB shit. So apologies for
Jimmy.
that.
Jimmy,
It's
quit
okay,
fucking
Jimmy.
around. Just do it.
Hey, Jimmy, unlike some of the others here, I'm just going to say you're being pegged by Murphy, and you should be used to it by now.
Murphy! Yep, bastard. But yeah, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So
All right, get it resolved, man.
yeah, I'll get it resolved once we're all done here and whatnot. Make sure do
Yeah.
a test run on everything. Fucker.
Well, does anyone else have any thoughts that they would like to tap on when it comes to the whole idea of cuffing season, holiday shenanigans, anything of the nature of what we've been talking about tonight?
Well, I'm long past the use factor because this is really what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
So basically, as Hammerhand says, they're just trying to get usury bucks out of your ass.
exactly. They're trying to get
Yes.
they're trying to get an item.
Yes.
The item. Yeah. Go
Yes.
for it.
It basically is nothing but a usury
Mhm.
period of time that happens every year. Like I said, usually when they get in times of need or they start getting into that time of their life where they're realizing that they don't really have all that kind of time left to live, and they want to start a family and make something valuable of themselves, they look for men who has money. It'll vary depending upon the woman, of course. They look for different things for different reasons, but
Mhm.
typically it's centered around vanity, usury,
Mhm.
ego, narcissism. I mean, look at next time you get a chance when Halloween pops up, go on your local social media and look at all these pictures that they're going to take with all these slutty costumes. Go to Christmas, look at all these slutty costumes or
Mhm.
clothing apparatus that they get for Christmas,
Yep.
Valentine's.
The slutty Mrs. Claus outfits.
Mhm.
Yes.
Slutty elf. Yeah.
Well,
All
Yep.
that shit.
okay,
Yep.
gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and share something that I found on Gilded just a little bit ago.
Oh my
Mhm.
god.
That, honestly, I think makes for the best, if I can find it, I think makes for the best holiday artwork I have seen in a long, long time. I've got to get this thing to cooperate before it'll do it. That stinks. Okay, plan B. As
Just
much as I don't want
put
to
the
do
link.
this. Say again?
Just put the link in there.
I'm actually trying to show this up here because it's actually quite funny.
Is that fucking jackal again? God
Nope, it's not a
damn it.
Jackal one. At least I don't think it's. I don't think it's Jackal.
There we go.
By the way, I love Jackal. He's a great guy.
What happened to Jackal? He was here a while ago.
He decided he wanted to jump out, so I'm not gonna.
He's working on shit.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
not gonna get upset with him over that.
Mm. By the way, that's nice, MGTOW.
Yeah, I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Yeah, that is some really good 3D rendering that you've done with that. What's the software you used?
She needs
Ah,
nipples, though.
it needs what?
She needs nipples.
What software did you use for that?
Just plain Photoshop app.
Oh God.
What is it? Superimpose. What is that? Hold on.
Yeah, it's a
Oh
layered.
yeah. I know what.
Photo layers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
The
that
thing is,
those
that
those
looks like it
thighs
was
are
done in some kind of 3D software.
Well,
those
that's the way
thighs
the
are
layers
very
work. Yeah.
very oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Tasty.
Uh, disproportionate. That's the
Yeah.
word I was looking for.
I don't give a fuck about that. It's tasty.
Well, she's got
Barbie is disproportionate.
Barbie.
And
Okay,
she's still tasty.
the photo I was trying to bring up is not going to cooperate. But those of you guys on the panel,
Go ahead.
those of you guys on the panel, look in the Redonkulous Gilded in the butts and memes. About a third of the way up from what they put down recently, there's a photo of a Halloween decoration that looks like someone wrapped up in a body bag with caution tape, and then it shows what it looks like outside of the plastic bag.
Nice.
I am sorely tempted to make something like that up and stick it outside my apartment.
Do it. Do it.
But unless anybody has any final thoughts or comments for the topic of tonight, I think we're going to go ahead and end the stream and try to help Jimmy figure out what's going on with his computer system.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and we can harass the shit out of him backstage. So let's do it.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with you, Outlaw. Since you were the first one in, may as well be the first one out.
I have pretty much said everything that I was going to say on this topic. I mean, gentlemen, keep an eye out for women who appear desperate, women who are in need of something that once they get it, they probably will no longer need you. Yeah, you know what I mean.
So if they look like your avatar,
Probably, yeah.
okay.
But
I'm
yeah,
gonna
I
jump
pretty
over
much
to
said
Tommy now.
everything.
My girls in Colombia look a lot better than that avatar,
Oh my god.
but they're all dark haired.
Oh, I can make her dark headed.
I know you can. They got brown eyes, and they got a brown eye.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So on the topic of tonight, do you have anything in particular
Wow.
you'd like to say?
Well, I came in so late. My beer apocalypse, you know, kind of precluded me from really having an opinion. Everything that I've seen though is, yeah, we're dead on. Don't let these individuals, and I don't care if they're male or female or trans or whatever the fuck they are, um, hijack your enjoyment of the holidays, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're using you to make them feel better about what they want to do during the holidays. And then they will parade you around your family and that's all I got to say about it.
Alrighty then. Jimmy, do you have any final thoughts on the topic of cuffing season for tonight?
Know the signs and avoid those women at all costs, because you never know what could go wrong. And when it does go wrong, it goes wrong bad. And next
Yeah.
thing you know, the least of your worries would be her and Murphy teaming up and breaking off an 18-inch dildo in your ass. That's
I
the
like-
best case. That's the best case scenario.
Guys, I really like MM43's comment here.
I agree. I hate the holidays, honestly.
This is MM43. Don't take this as an insult. It's only meant as a joke. Tell me you're in agriculture without telling me you're in agriculture.
Yep. No, yeah, my dad works at Kelly Beans, so he's got to deal with all the truckers and all the harvesting and everything else too. So it's busier and shit around this time of year, and well, he's only got about a year and a half left of work to go, and then he's going to retire. So,
right.
Yep.
Well, good for him.
Yep. A while back, he told me, he's like, "Man, I'm just going to go ahead and sell the fucking boat," because he bought a bass boat not too long ago. I was like, "Why the fuck do you want to do that?" It's like, "Well, I've only taken it out fucking 3 times."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
no time.
I'm like, bro, you're about to retire in a year and a half. Keep the goddamn boat. You're going to want to go fishing.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and give the final thought on this. Well, and my last word on this topic. It's definitely not the last word, because I'm sure there's going to be other content creators talking about this particular subject matter. First of all, I really debated even doing this particular topic tonight. Hammerhand, if you ever see this, it was not meant as a tag along with your stuff. You did a lot better program than I put together. I'm attacking this from the point of view of the single man who is still willing to try to have a relationship, family, and kids, but doesn't want to go into this not knowing that they're walking into a minefield.
Yep. And I will kind of continue on with that sentiment on my stream after we get through all the bullshits that perspired today. If you guys have not seen what happened today,
Oh God, there's a bunch.
yeah,
Don't get me started there. I mean,
we'll,
Jimmy.
we'll save it for my stream. We'll save it.
Well, no, I'm gonna go ahead and say this again to kind of bookend the stream. There's a certain public official who just retired, who was not in the CDC, who was in a different branch of the government,
Mhm.
who quite frankly needs to take his retirement, go to some private part of the country where he's not going to make himself known in the future, and STFU.
Mhm.
This particular individual, in my opinion, is an insult to the organization he was part of, was an insult to everyone else who worked in that organization, and his violations and supportive violations of the Nuremberg Code,
Mhm.
as well as his willingness to make contact with organizations that he had no business making contact with, means he needs to have a very specific kind of discussion that I don't want to say any more on right now, because I will end up having FBI agents coming and talking to me afterwards.
Mhm.
Understandable.
On the primary topic of tonight, there are men out there who, like me, would love the opportunity to have a family.
Mhm.
But as time goes on, I'm 42. I believe that for me, that ship has sailed. Would I
Yes.
like that not to be true? Yes. Do I do these streams to tell people to give it up? No. I do these streams to let people know this is what's out there. Be on the lookout for it, and if you see signs of it in armies talk, cut sling load and evac the AO.
Mhm.
It's up to you if you're going to take that advice or not. I
Yep.
can't indicate. I cannot tell you to do what's right for you or what you need to do. You have to decide what's right for you. I have to decide what's right for me. So does Outlaw, Tommy, and Jimmy here. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you what not to do. But at the same time, I'm going to give you the ammunition and the information so you can decide what your course of action needs to be. If you feel like you want to risk going out there to a Halloween party and hooking up with some cute little blonde or 20 something or 30 something, more power to you. I just hope you make the right decision for you and your mental health.
Yep. And as Pop would say, if you're gonna bang, wear a condom, take it with you, flush it down the toilet, and watch it go.
Mm-hmm.
Sperm jacking is a real thing.
Mhm.
Okay, well, gentlemen, it is about the 2 hour mark. I think I've said we've all beat this horse to death. It's at the glue factory. It's waiting to be processed. So, what do you say we do our countdown timer again and cut it for the even?
Yep. I
Sounds
agree.
good to me.
Good.
And for all of you that are watching, all three of you that are still watching, I have a crawl that I just switched over to for other content creators that are in this same sphere. I watch each of these individuals. I enjoy each of these individuals' programs. They do a lot of really good content at a lot higher quantity than I do. If you're a first timer in this sphere, pop in, listen to them, maybe drop them a few shekels every once in a while. On that note, you all have a good night, and see you here in a couple of weeks. I have no idea what it's going to be next, or in 2 weeks. Could be an SCP, could be a relationship thing. We could be talking about CERN and how they pulled us into a parallel universe. But
That'd be a good
see you
one.
all then. And I foobarred that.